There's a lot of people out there with severe mental problems. My wife and I were talking about this. Actually, this has been an ongoing discussion we've been having since we've been married. My family, my brother, who we don't know if he's on the spectrum, he's 2 years older than me. I'm 43 years old. He's 45. Um, he was born in 1980. And so back then, um, you didn't really have a whole lot of people who were on the spectrum, but clearly there's a lot of people on the spectrum. All my life, I thought my brother was pretty normal. I thought that he was just kind of strange, he's kind of a strange character, like kind of full of himself for the most part, arrogant. But yet when you converse with him, when you have conversations with him, he'll keep talking at you, and he doesn't really have those social cues like people on the spectrum don't have, and it made me kind of wonder, over the past 10 or so years, well into my 30s. I'm 43 now. I'll be 43 in a couple days. It's my birthday coming up. Um, you know, it made me realize I really think that he's on the spectrum. I think that something's kind of off here. And what I thought was kind of weird is like my parents never really told me anything about it. And I think that my parents know he's on the spectrum, but they just are in denial and they don't know how to put the words in the right category in terms of describing him. And so, like, my wife and I, we go back and we visit my family a couple years ago, and my brother is just like talking, and he's talking, and he's talking, and he's talking, and he doesn't understand. Like, hey, dude, shut up. It's like you're talking too much. Let somebody else talk. This isn't a conversation. This is a rambling, moment for you where you just are going off on like just this one topic. You can't shut up about it. And it got me thinking. I was like, that's kind of how I don't know if it's people with Asperger's or autistic people. That's kind of how they are. Is they kind of like don't really have that social awareness to where like they can understand that hey, if they're in a crowd or a group of people, they don't know when to shut up. And nothing against people who are on the spectrum. Like I love everybody, but it's like there comes a time where um the people that um should know about themselves and other people, especially in family dynamics. They should know how their son is, they should know how their siblings are. And it just dawned on me, not too long ago. I'm looking at my teeth. Oh my god. My teeth right there? Looks totally like it's like sticking out. I mean, God, this is totally off topic. See, this is how I kind of roll. I go off topic here. I rarely do this, but like I've gotten braces. I've had braces. I love that Kansas City t-shirt too. Kudos. What's up, my KC people? If you're watching this, I love Kansas City. Hell yeah. Anyway, we're gonna go right back to the topic at hand. I'm getting sidetracked here. No, I'm not high or drunk. I am just sitting here on my couch on my day off. I need to shave and comb my hair. But who gives a fucking shit? Because I am off. Fuck you all. So, like, my brother, I think at the end of the day, I think my brother's on the spectrum. And my wife and I, we went back and we visited home. We visited my family a couple years ago. And she was like, I think, your brother, I'm not gonna say his name. I think your brother, is here I go yawning. My own voice bores me to death. No, it's been like so tiring today, just sitting here on the couch watching Dexter Resurrections, and I'm sitting here and I'm realizing that she's right. Oh my God, my wife is right. I think my brother's on the spectrum, and I was kind of scrolling through social media tonight, just sitting on the couch, and there's a lot of narcissists out there. A lot of narcissists on Facebook, on Instagram, especially Instagram. All these girls out there who are so self absorbed. with themselves, you know? They're so self-absorbed, and I think that's a form of narcissism and just being on the spectrum too, because the spectrum is a spectrum. It's like a wavelength. It's a length of mental capacity and mental behaviors that aren't really normal. And I think that a lot of people over the past 10 years have been degraded in terms of their mental capacities. And I don't know what has done that, whether it be, the drugs or the alcohol, the sex, the porn, the movies, the music, whatever it is. Maybe it's their brain development at an early age. I think my brother and I, we had pretty much the same childhood. Like, maybe my brother got head trauma or something. I think he got head trauma, but I don't know. He's always kind of been off. Um, he's always kind of been a little different while growing up, and I noticed that now. But like, when I go on social media, I look at all these girls on there, and it's like most of them, most of them are like just so self-absorbed. And isn't that a form of like weird, like mentally kind of deranged shit? Oh, you should play that like really slow motion, cause like that would be so weird if you did it. This video is so fucked up if you're watching it. I'm gonna cut it short because I'm going over here. But I guess the point I'm trying to get at here is like the people that you may not really know. And if you do know them so well, you might be in denial of how you know them. And you might not want to share that with your people, your own family members, in a fear that that could change the family dynamic, you know? Um, or maybe my family's just fucked up and they're all weird, and I'm the only one that's normal, and they don't know that they're fucked up. Oh, that would be fucked up. And you know what's really fucked up and sad too is there's a lot of that going on today in today's world. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Like people have become estranged from their family members. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Hi, if you are estranged, if you don't talk to your family anymore. Like, guys, gals, come on. Let's not deny it. Family can be so fucked up. I mean, a lot of our parents, our boomer parents, they never went to therapy. They never were told what an autistic person is or a person with Asperger's. They weren't informed. They weren't knowledgeable about this stuff. And now all this stuff is kind of coming out in today's world. All this knowledge about this stuff, it's popping up. And it's like people are now like realizing, like, hey, this girl over here, she could be like on the spectrum. This guy over here, these people can be on the spectrum, and all along we might not have known about it. And so my question to you all is like, do you know if a loved one or like a family member is on the spectrum? Because they might be. They might exhibit forms of like weird behavior that would be, signs that they are. And like maybe my whole life my parents lied to me. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised about that. But why? It's like, why? There's nothing wrong with the person who's on the spectrum. Okay, I have a friend who's got Asperger's. He's a gifted, talented, wonderful person. There's nothing wrong with him. But it's wrong. I mean, nothing. There's no right or wrong, right? It's just there's opposites and there's positives and negatives. Um, there's energy, and energy is just it changes, it manipulates, it unfolds, it progresses, it expands, it contracts, and that's life. So my question to you all is, how are you dealing with your family member who acts kind of weird? Yeah, I said it. Not weird in a weird way, but like they're different, and they might treat you differently. And maybe they're allowed to do that because your family members know that they're on the spectrum, but they don't want to tell you. Yeah, that's fucked up. So basically, like, I got this brother who acts kind of narcissistic and self-absorbed, and he kind of just gets a free pass to treat people and like name call and just say like shitty things to other family members and other people because he's on the spectrum. And the only people who know he's on the spectrum is my parents. So, guess what? I have an awareness. I know what he's like, dummies. It's like, stop letting your 45-year-old son walk around, bash other people in the family, toot his little horn all night long while he's drinking his wine and pretend like everything's hunky dory. No, he's most likely on the spectrum. We all know it. And just because he's on the spectrum doesn't mean he can go around and say whatever he wants. No, you all don't get to do that because you have mental problems. You don't get a free pass when it comes to that shit because your brain isn't charged right. So I want you all to think, maybe my family just fucked up. Maybe they are. They probably are. But I mean, it's like this is what I'm trying to talk about tonight. I was just sitting here thinking, I was scrolling through Instagram and social media. Like, we all seem to have a form of this cognitive, twisted kind of, I mean, maybe just our dark side, The shadow is what they want to call it. What Freudian, Freudian, whatever you want to call Freud, Sigmund Freud. I mean, this all relates to that. But yeah, I'm ranting now. This has been one wild ride. I'm just finding this so interesting because there could be so many people on the spectrum you don't even know about it because it's a spectrum from 0 to 10, 0 to 100, whatever. 0 to 1,000, to a million, quadrillion. It's like any tiny little thing along this line, this linear line. I mean, so many nuances, you know? Yeah. So we need to learn how to cope, to be aware, and to feel out in this space how these people act and react and how we should treat them, how we should characterize them, how we should protect them, how we should teach them. Okay? So they're not just running around being shitty to people. And yeah, I'm gonna get to this, and I probably already have. Here I go with my little Donald Trump fucking little. Yeah. Fuck that. No, I'm not drunk. But it's like, guys, gals, come on. I have a coworker who I think is on the spectrum. I know I've talked about him before. We all know. We don't want to go back to him. So we have names for him. I mean, I'm pretty darn sure he's on the spectrum. But anyway, that's a wrap for tonight. I'll save that for another time. Wow.